Hey guys, Kusha here with Exerscribe TV, and today I want to talk to you about your postural muscles. So there are some postural muscles you've probably never heard of, and they're called the obturator internus and externus. And what they mainly do is they help with stability of the hip. They're external rotators of the hip. One of them, the internus, helps with hip abduction as well. So when we're talking about keeping the hip away from the body and moving the hip away from the body, and the externus helps with bringing it closer to the body. So when we talk about locomotion, we talk about human movement, the biomechanics of human movement rely on those postural muscles, the obturator muscles, to be active and working properly. Otherwise, your leg will be flying all over the place. It keeps it stable. Obviously, there's other muscles that are involved too, like the piriformis, the gluteus minimus, and a few other postural muscles that are involved in that process. But a lot of the times what happens is when we sit all day, a lot of those muscles become inactive. And also, like I've talked about before, if you're not training with enough extension or enough rotation, which most of our training systems like machines and some of the traditional magazine workouts tell you to work in this plane of motion or in this plane of motion, then you're not really working those muscles. So a lot of them, they fall out of the synergy. Your body has kind of synergistic force coupling forces and force production that happens when things are working properly. And when they're not, when those muscles are asleep and latent, then what happens is your posture starts falling apart. You start having that upper neck pain, the back pain, sciatic pain. There's something called piriformis syndrome, and piriformis syndrome, basically what it is, you get this inflammation, this hypertrophy of the piriformis. So this small muscle near the hip, the part of that postural complex that I was talking about, it gets inflamed because it takes too much of the workload. When the glutes aren't firing, when those other muscles aren't firing, piriformis has to pick up some of the slack to do the job, and in doing so, it gets inflamed. And because of where the origin and the insertion are, the way that it's situated is that the piriformis is very close to these sciatic nerves. So there's a lot of sciatic pain that is associated with, piriformis syndrome. So there's obviously stretches you can do for, the external rotator and internal rotator, hip rotator stretches. But mainly the main thing that I obviously always advocate is, doing more movement with more rotation and more extension. That's your longevity plan. For long term, that's what you want to do to prevent it from happening and keeping it from reoccurring. Because I see people who foam roll, I see them foam rolling every day. And the people who are stretching, I see them stretching every day. And it's clear that that's not working. It's providing some kind of acute therapeutic relief. So if it's going to make you feel a little bit better, I'm all for the foam rolling, I'm all for the stretching if it's going to help you feel better today. But in the long term, I want to prevent it from coming back, and I want it to be, pretty much, obliterated and not come back to bother you. But the only way to do that is if you treat it through, treating that root cause, which is, again, training with more rotation and more extension of the hips. Thanks for tuning in today. Be on the lookout next week for some more Exerscribe TV. See you soon.